Well, hello there, chosen ones and workers of light, and a special welcome to those who are new in their awakening and those who are just now uh, realizing their purpose, and maybe those who are seeking out their purpose, and whether they have just received their gift or they are wondering what their gift may be. I wanted to talk a bit about. Um, our conduct as chosen ones, what it means, and how we are set apart, and all that. Where I'm reading currently Second Peter, or no, I'm sorry, First Peter, and wow, that is a great book, an epistle, really, for us to really dive into. So all kinds of golden nuggets. So, especially when I'll just jump into it. It's First Peter chapter 2, verse, I'll just start at 9, and it says, boom, you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness and into his marvelous light, who once were not a people, but now we are a people of God, who at once did not obtain mercy, but now we have obtained mercy. It's the the awakening. We are out of the darkness now, and now there has been a flicker. Our light has been ignited, and we want that to grow, and we want it to be steadfast, a steady flame that does not get out. We are the lamppost. That was in Matthew and the Beatitudes, right? Where it's not hidden under a basket. Boom, they put it up on the lamp. The lamp, they put on the lampstand, fills the whole room. Not just somebody standing right by the lamp holder. It's a bright enough light that the whole, look at this. There's one. Ooh, where is it? Boom, one light bulb. This entire room is lit up. That's what we're gonna be. But it hasn't been easy, has it? It's been whew, quite a ride, and this was especially and I come to you as somebody who is recently awakened to myself. It's been 2 years, um, and I've been slowly growing, and it hasn't been super easy for me. So I want this to be I pray that anybody who comes across this video or is feeling um, that this will resonate with them, how they might be new in their faith, new in their awakening, new in their realization that they are chosen and called by God and have a gift and have a purpose and trying to figure out what the will of God is going to be in their life, because we each have a role to play, we each have different gifts, and just wanting to touch on the, we came from darkness, right? Everybody, there's a lot of people asleep, there's a lot of people in the dark, there's a lot of, there's the sinister darkness, and then there's just the darkness that doesn't even, just needs a lamp, and then there's those who prefer the darkness, right? Now, regardless of the past, wherever you may have come from, uh we're here now. We got that light going. So what that means now is, we have to maintain it, and that means denying ourselves what our former self used to do, working towards, that's on the next page, working towards what is good, and walking worthy of the calling that we have. That means, boom, we're going to go down to verse 11. We're living before the world. This is First Peter chapter 2, verse 11. Peter's he's where is he? Who is he talking to? He's talking to. Hold on, let's get this context. I believe, is he talking to? I think he's talking to a group of people. Yeah, this everybody's kind of the pilgrims. The church kind of scattered. There's people in Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and some, I don't know where these are, Bithynia and Pontus. Um, anyway, so he's kind of, it's kind of not to a specific church, but to those of us who, back then and now, those who were trying to follow Christ and were under persecution. So boom, he's begging everyone, who is now walking differently, to abstain from fleshly lusts, which war against the soul, having your conduct honorable among the Gentiles, that when they speak against you as evildoers, they themselves, they may, by your good works, which they observe, glorify God in the day of visitation. So, first, it's like we are going to experience some temptations. Are the temptation is not, there's it talks about, oh, where is that, where do not say that God has tempted me, this or that. And sometimes even we can't even be like, oh, Satan and his demons have tempted me. It talks about each man is tempted by the desires of their own heart. It's the default wickedness in us, the default darkness, where it's something, it's the sickness within us, the darkness before the light, that it was what we wanted. In a sense, it was something that we were okay with, and now we're done with that. uh, the fleshly lusts are going to be coming at us. They're going to want you yourself might feel this way. You might feel a pulling of the darkness, or a pulling of a former habit or lifestyle, because even though we are chosen and we have this now path of light, doesn't mean we're going to be, doesn't mean we're all of a sudden perfect. No, unfortunately, I forgot to turn the vibrate off on my phone. And I wish it was so, but we are also going to be facing our own battles with ourselves, and we just have to continue to maintain. And I got to get to that. But okay, so our conduct, and this is also going to go to that next page. Our conduct, people are watching, other chosen ones, people in all different walks, whether they are, new. This is more of a video, hopefully for people who are a little more in the beginning stages, because I myself can relate to that, being only 2 years young as a chosen one. And regardless of your walk, maybe it's a good reminder that everybody's watching, not just God, but the people that we interact with day to day, the people that may come across a video like this, the stuff that you post online, uh, the different social medias, whether it's a video on one of the video platforms, you know, YouTube. There's a lot of music maybe that you have created and put out there. Any content, right? Everybody is watching. Everybody sees that, and what are they going to think? Now, maybe in the past, whatever. Maybe we can discredit that, because now is what matters as we move forward. But we're going to be walking amongst the people. They're still in the dark. They're going to see your light, and they're going to think, what is this? They're not going to be chill with it. They are so comfortable in their toxic lifestyle that they, as evildoers, the sinister ones, and even those who just don't understand, they're they're just going to include you in gossip, in accusations, and they'll point out things. They'll project their insecurities or their anger, or they'll perceive all this crazy stuff about you, and try to lie about you. And if your conduct is above reproach, then those works are going to glorify God, and they will be ashamed when it all comes, when it's all revealed at the end. So we're going to go over to verse 21. This is the next page of my Bible. I don't know. For to this you were called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow his steps. And that's the living righteously. Sanctification. That's a word. That's a cool word. I didn't really fully understand what sanctification is, and I have it written down somewhere. But it's essentially the turning away from sin, to set yourself apart, to remove and purge that which is wicked, and what is not holy or pure. You're no longer in that. You're no longer in the darkness, right? We are light of the world. He stepped down into darkness, and here we are now. So he's left that example, and the example is not an easy one to emanate, right? It's very difficult, because Jesus was perfect. We aren't. We're going to have those temptations, those fleshly lusts. And that's not just, lust isn't just talking about Sexual temptation, though of course it is. Lust is just any intense desire of excessiveness that is selfish and that is um, a lack of self-control towards. And it could be lust for worldly material things, for um, a substance, whether it's alcohol or drugs. It could be vanity. It could be pride. It could be your anger, where you just, some people are they have embraced their anger, or like their chip on their shoulder, the chip on their shoulder, where they actively are aggressive towards people, right? So these are lusts and desires within their heart. That's their go-to, and it's comfortable. Maybe not preferred or ideal, but they are not currently working on themselves to overcome that. They're just in that, they're in the low vibration and stuck in that mindset where they are not able to progress productively. So we are called to the blessing. Now, for one another, one mind, we must have compassion for one another, love, be tenderhearted, be courteous, and this is the big one. Here we go. Not returning evil for evil, reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, blessing. Bless those who have done you wrong. Bless those who persecute you. Right. That's our calling. That is why we're here. That is why we're, because we are to lead by example. We are to do something different. That's what Jesus did amongst a world that is more and more becoming increasingly degenerate, increasingly just abandoning love and kindness. Not that it's totally gone, not that it's doom and gloom. There are a plethora, there are so many people still kind-hearted and compassionate, right? Um, but some of us have been blessed with gifts, whether it's, I've seen there's so many wonderful YouTubers who have the gift of the prophetic word. There are those who are healers. I myself have the gift of discernment, and there's the gift of preaching that some people have, the gift of teaching, and so we all come together. We're all different gears of the same machine, all different parts of the body. Can't just have all eyes, all arms, and we can't. The arm can't say to the eye, you know, you're worthless. It's all about me. We need everything to function right. So that's for one another. And as far as the having one mind and compassion for one another, love. Sometimes even chosen ones, we ain't. Sometimes we don't all agree with one another, and we need to uh, hopefully put our own pride aside, put our differences aside, have more understanding and love, and it's so constant, isn't it? It's constant love for everyone and as yourself. It's not something that you just do, it's something that you are love. And that's now that we are aware of that, practice, practice, practice. So the blessings. Who would love life and see good days? He who would love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil and his lips from speaking deceit. Let him turn away from evil and do good. Let him seek peace and pursue it. So, okay, before I go there, um, so for a good life and for good days, um, do away with the evil speaking, the deceit, the any wickedness, and you think, well, I'm chosen. I have none of that in my life. Maybe not on a dramatic scale, but we may be tempted from time to time. Who here doesn't still maybe fall into lying or gossip, or just something that they say is not edifying? Um, Maybe overindulging in something. It's gonna happen. Not that that's like, well, it's talking about evil, man. Like, yeah, and every sin is just as bad. It's all worthy of death, right? It can be considered evil in God's eyes. We just think of like, oh, demons are evil, or somebody who kills people, that's evil. And it's like, yeah, that is definitely evil, but anything that is not good is considered evil. And so we have to seek peace and pursue it. We look for it. Once we find it, continue to pursue that and be diligent and be vigilant. For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous. They're on us, and his ears are open to our prayers. The face of the Lord is against those who do evil. He cannot. He's righteous. Uh, he cannot bless those who are walking in darkness. There's the I wish I had it written down. Well, there's okay. This is also in the this is something in the Beatitudes where it's like you cannot serve two masters because you'll be loyal to one and hate the other, or you'll love one and despise the other. Right? Um, you cannot serve both God and Mammon, both God and my battery's running low. There's another verse I gotta find it. It's you cannot sit at the table at the Lord's table and at the table of the demons. And sometimes we sit on a fence. Lot was one of those, man. You know how he lived in Sodom and Gomorrah. Well, he started out outside the city, and he got a little closer to Sodom and Gomorrah. It's like, how close can I get? I kind of this is where I want to live. Sodom and Gomorrah, really? It's like Vegas. It's like Pleasure Island. He's like, well, I'm not partaking. I'm nearby. Maybe I'll be a witness, right? How close can I get? And maybe my my example would be enough. Well, that's the ideal, but it's sometimes he was all on his own, and he got. Let me make sure my phone isn't gonna die. And he eventually became a somebody who was part of like he was an official of the city, and he was living there inside the city, and all of a sudden, and he was very familiar with when the two angels he was housing them, and they all of a sudden all the people were coming and were like, let's have sex with those men, men of all ages, were just homosexuality type stuff, and he already knew all the evil that was going on. He's like, hey man, not today. I was like, what do you mean not today? Not any day, dude. So all that to say is like, uh, the Lord's against those. We sometimes may slip or flirt with old behaviors that are against God. And man, that was a lot, guys. I know, but that's the message. I think that's it. My phone's gonna die, but we have to watch our conduct because everybody's watching. The Lord is watching, and we want to be blameless and above reproach so that nobody can really, despite what they say, our actions prove different. And we just have to watch ourselves, especially as we're growing, as we're nurturing that light. We are out of the darkness now. Hallelujah. Love and blessings, and may your light shine bright.